Cade. No Franz Wagner guarding him for Orlando. Paolo also had 45, but we're going to give the flowers to Cade, obviously, in a win last night. Congrats to Detroit. They cut it to 3-2. Cleveland cuts it to 3-2 in their game against Toronto. We'll keep you updated on the latest with the injuries there because no Brandon Ingram for the final 37 minutes of the game or so. He only played 11 minutes in this game, and then also because of a heel injury. And their star, as some have said, like the head coach of the Raptors, Scotty Barnes, face of the league, he got kneed in his quads, and he got banged up during the course of the game last night. All right, more on the NBA playoffs coming up as all of the games are on ESPN Radio, postseason action on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app, presented by Gusto. Smalls, Courtney, in for Canty today. Yesterday, we got news from Todd Archer, our ESPN Dallas Cowboys reporter, that one George Pickens has signed the franchise tag. The tender guarantee of $27.3 million this season gives him injury protection. Stephen Jones has said of the Cowboys brass, not looking to trade him, not looking to extend him necessarily in terms of a multi-year deal. Courtney Cronin, you cover the NFL daily for a living. Why did then Pickens sign this franchise tag?
Well, because he wants the multi-year deal, and you can't get it without, if it's not going to happen with the Cowboys, you got to get traded somewhere else. So you've got to sign your tag, get under contract, so then they can trade you. Otherwise, you'd be stuck. They wouldn't be able to do that. And you have to do it before July 15th. That's the deadline because you can't sign a multi-year contract after that. But I think the smoke that we heard last week, or literally like the reporting we heard last week, hey, he's signing this. There had been some, what was the joke that we were running? A verbal confirmation via email. So whether that was like a video message via email, I don't know. The wording of that was a little weird, but he doesn't sign it before the draft when we all thought, when we heard that, oh, he's about to get traded tonight. To me, this is him saying, okay, I understand that you guys cannot pay me what I want to be paid. I want a multi-year deal. You want me to play on the tag. I'll do this now. Please start working on moving me as soon as possible, which this helps them, since he's under contract now, start to get the wheels truly in motion. It's not like they couldn't start working out terms of a trade, but they truly need the player under contract in order to make that happen.
But do you think that will happen? Because
I do.
The Cowboys have been... Now, listen, they could be saying one thing publicly while behind the scenes they're working through different machinations of a trade. But Stephen Jones has said publicly that they have no intention of moving Pickens. And if he's coming off a career year, they clearly like what he did. Since he came to Dallas, he provided a different wrinkle for Dak in that offense. But they don't want to commit to him long term. But I don't know. To me, it seems like this is what we're going to have for this season, at least with George Pickens and the Cowboys.
See, I would normally... If he didn't sign the tag, because then you don't get fined for missing minicamp or any of the days of training camp, I would think that it could be a different story. To me, this is someone who knows how they play ball in Dallas. He got to witness it up close last year with Micah Parsons. I'm sure he's heard in the locker room, hey, this is how they do things contractually. They're going to try to make your life a living hell and make you blink first. So maybe there is some sort of reverse psychology here. Like, okay, I'll sign the tag with the intention of them moving me because I've made it clear. I want a multi-year extension. You don't want me here for that long because you're only willing to pay me this because you're already paying CeeDee Lamb a boatload of money. He's too talented to be on a team like that. So he can, it's not that you sign the tag and you're stuck. He could force his way. He could force his hand. There's plenty of things he can do to put himself in a situation to move out of there. I like the timeline here. The fact that he did that on April 29th gives them a runway of how they can negotiate this thing to get him somewhere else and to get a player back in return and some assets to start building on 2027 because they had a great draft. They had one of the better drafts of any team in the NFL, and I think that they look at that and say, there could be something here to help us continue down that path by moving a player who's very valuable and would be providing immense value to any offense that's out there.
So if I ask you both right now, George Pickens next season, you have two choices. He's either on the Cowboys or one of the other 31 teams.
As in this upcoming season.
Yeah, sorry, this upcoming season. The year that he's under a contract for 1 year and over $27 million. Cowboys or one of the other 31?
I say one of the other 31.
And this may be short-sighted of me, but I'm going to believe the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to believe Stephen Jones when he says we have no intention of moving him. I'm going to believe Jerry Jones when he says we have long-term plans for him. So I'm going to say the Dallas Cowboys.
Long-term plans, but they won't give him a long-term contract.
But this is what Jerry does. He always makes these type of things with star players the contracts and the negotiations as difficult as possible. He always loves to drag things out. And again, maybe I'm foolish for believing him, but in this particular set of circumstances, I think George Pickens for this year will be a Dallas Cowboy.
So, Courtney, if it's one of the other 31, why did they do it now versus why did they not agree to it on draft day like we thought so they could get ammo for this year's team?
No, it's a great question because you would think the best time to trade him would have been during the draft to where they could have gotten capital back to use right away. I think there was something that fell through because the fact that he was going to sign it specific to last Thursday, 1 week ago today, we hear, hey, he's intending to sign it. He gave a verbal confirmation via email, or his agent did. Something fell through, but that doesn't mean that to me, that just means there is strong interest. Maybe it was just the terms of it didn't come to fruition then. Maybe now that the draft has settled, teams realize where their holes are, realize where they need to make a significant upgrade. Because let's be honest, outside of Jordan Tyson, Mekhi Lemon, Casey Concepcion, which I know Browns fans were not happy about that pick, like this receiver class isn't great. This receiver class in the draft was not what it's been billed to be in years past. I think that there are going to be some teams around the league that look at that, those who drafted receivers, those who didn't because they didn't feel it would upgrade them that much, and know now that they have a proven player who can do a lot of different things for you over a long stretch of time. Like this guy wants to be somewhere long term. So that already gives you, if you're a team that can afford him and a team that can fit him under your cap for 4 years and give him that next big extension, why wouldn't you at this point? I feel like now it actually gave you more information of knowing how to handle this deal. And it actually might have been better for him and whoever ends up trading for him to do it now instead of trying to work something through and feeling like they may have gotten shortchanged or the compensation wouldn't have been what either team wanted, doing it rushed during the draft.
The interesting part of this is, and maybe some of these names are more name than game at this point in their career, but Steph Diggs is available. Obviously, the Cowboys have experience with his family and his brother. You've got Tyreek Hill, who's available. Mm-hmm. You've got Juwan Jennings, who's available from the Niners. You've got Deebo Samuel, who's available. Brandon Ayuk. John Lynch made it very clear, general manager of the Niners, please come take him, somebody. Give us something for him, anything. We'll take a stick of gum at this point. Give us something. It's that's literally how they kind of positioned it at the draft. Now, all of them may be more name than game. Ryan Flournoy, who's been on our show, had an excellent end to the season for them, that maybe he's somebody, a young player, that they could put opposite CeeDee Lamb. It's very interesting as to why he signed this now, he being George Pickens, because normally guys just wait so they don't have to go to some of the mini camps. And yeah, maybe he is taking the reverse psychology, as you mentioned, with the idea of, I'm going to be the perfect citizen. I'm going to show up to everything, and that's why you're going to be more inclined to give me the extension, because I'm not who you think I might have been in the past. I am who I was a year ago for you. That Steelers version of me that Mike Tomlin kind of was sick of at the end, that guy doesn't exist anymore. I've matured. I've grown. I'm here. I did the exact opposite of what you would think. I signed on the dotted line. I'm here. I'm showing up to work, and I want to be here for the next however many years. We'll see if that works. But Smalls thinks he'll be on the Cowboys. Courtney thinks he'll be on one of the other 31 teams in the league. And I think you need to be a part of the team at PayPal like we are. PayPal is the official peer-to-peer payment sponsor of the NFL. When fans come together on game day, PayPal helps make it easy to split the ticket costs, cover tailgate supplies,